uh,
Yeah,
Karnataka.
she's
She's
back.
back, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Meera, you're back?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my internet just conked suddenly.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just explained that Sangatis basically came from the time of Tyagaraja, and pre-Tyagaraja, typically people feel there were no Sangatis, and within the Trinity also Tyagaraja was the person who was responsible for the Sangatis. And as you said, the Sangatis that have come down to us may not have been all done by Tyagaraja, but there would have been addition in the lineage that came along.
Perfect, perfect.
So you may want to explain a bit on the Endaro Mahanubhavulu, and then we can proceed,
Right,
and how where the Sangatis came there.
right. So, Endaro Mahanubhavulu, like you saw first. In
Meera, if you don't mind, just you need to be closer to the mic, I
Oh,
guess.
okay. Is this better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah. So the very first line is something like Endaro Mahanubhavulu. Then Endaro So if you see, it speeds up a bit. By speeds up, I mean the density of the the notes, that it just gets a little quicker there. Then Endaro so and so on. It progresses as we go. So this is a song which has been like really set over the past several decades, and you've seen this being sung in the Pancharatnam in the during the Tyagaraja Aradhana in so many places. Tiruvayar, yes, but across the world, Tyagaraja is celebrated during the Aradhana. So this is an example where setting of these sangatis is like a useful thing in a case of group singing, uh, like an Aradhana. So I'll move on to, like I mentioned, raga progression. How is the raga progressing via the sangatis? One is the range. So it starts at a very, like a normal, around the same, the first sangati rotates around like a very normal pitch, doesn't shift around too much. So Endaro Mahanubhavu, it's very like sedate and that way. So Endaro, it moves up a bit. You see the range starts to increase. It's like the unfolding of a flower. It's like saying, okay, listen, the raga started like this, it also has these notes, then next, then it has these. So it's like drawing a rangoli. You start with a dot, you kind of draw more around it, and it's really like drawing a rangoli. And then speed and density of the, like I said, in the row, it starts getting a bit denser or faster for you. So this is just to give a variation. In my opinion, I do not know what the reasoning behind it is, but a raga does take many speeds, many shades, many colors. So any composer would want to exhibit all of these things when he is composing. So anything to add, Suresh sir, before I play Nagumamu?
Yeah, I think one thing I want all of them to notice is that a lot of times the Sangatis happen in the Pallavi and Anupallavi. Okay, let me explain what is Pallavi, Anupallavi. Some of you may be knowing. Basically, a Carnatic song is made out of three parts. The first Pallavi, which is a refrain, then they sing the Anupallavi, then they come back and sing the refrain, which is the Pallavi, and then finally they sing the Charanam, which is the longest part of the song, followed by the refrain, which is a Pallavi again. They end with the Pallavi. This is very different from a rock song, for example, where they start with the Charanam. If you call that the Charanam, they start with the Charanam and then they go to the refrain, which will be, whatever it is. So then again they go to the Charanam and then they go to the refrain, like that. So here we have three segments: the Pallavi, Anupallavi, and Charanam. And most of the Sangadis, the Sangadis happen a lot in the Pallavi and the Anupallavi. Not that they shouldn't happen in the Charanam, but typically, so most songs we'll be playing the Pallavi and the Anupallavi. watch how the variations are, like what Meera has told. And Prasad has asked, is it the variation in the mood due to notes as well as speed? Yes, that's right. So this is a raga you all know now, Abheri, and the famous Nagmo.
Yes. So watch for the speed and range progression that I mentioned. Last Sangati, which was really like fast paced, right? It gives like a sense of pinnacle. Yeah, this has like I've reached the final Sangati. And then when she comes to slow down and stop, like where she is doing now, it gives a sense of finality to that Pallavi that Sir mentioned. Yeah, I think we'll move on. Prabhu Teja, yeah, we will be talking about accompaniment in a separate slide, like exclusively coming up in a bit. Sir, you wanted to say something?
That I just wanted to just emphasize what Meera had said. The whole idea of Sangati is to give you as much the facet of a raga as possible within a composition. That is, if you sing the composition itself, you should be able to see the multiple facets of a raga, because raga is not a single linear thing, right? It has multiple shapes and colors. The idea is within the Sangatis, give you as much an idea of the raga, its color, its shape as possible. That's the way most Sangatis have been composed, keeping this in mind. Yeah, Raghu.
Yeah. So we will move on now. We've seen these two ragas, Kapi and Kalyani. So for those of you who were there for the previous sessions, if you remember, I mentioned that Kalyani is a heavy weight raga, whereas Kapi is a bit more flexible, bit lighter, can, like take more emotion in that sense, drama and all that. So if you want to call it an adjective, I'll call Kalyani is heavy and Kapi is light, just for the sake of this discussion. So how does the heaviness of a raga and a composition, by heaviness of composition, I mean length and what tala it is composed in. I don't want to get into the tala aspect now, but let's think of a song as heavy and not heavy. So Me Valla Guna and Kapi is not really heavy, whereas Eta Unnara and Kalyani is like a heavy main piece, like minimum 45-50 minutes, including all the improvisation. So let's see how the structure of the Sangati is for Me Valla. It's pretty simple and straightforward. it's just like 2-3 sangatis
Yeah.
and very simple. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I just wanted to just emphasize what you said. So if you have noticed this Kapi Raga Kriti, you can see that only 3 or 4 sangatis are done, and after that the Pallavi ends and you go on to the Anupallavi. That's what Meera meant by making a Kriti heavy. That is, the Kriti probably or the Raga probably does not have so many facets to cover as something like Kalyani. So the heaviness of something comes from how, what I would call, how different or how complex the raga is in its shape, in its color, and all that. Kapi probably is having a few facets, where Kalyani may have a large number of facets. So now listen to Etavunara, and you will see how many sangadis happen here and how Kalyani is revealed bit by bit, bit by bit. Yeah, Meena.
Watch for the range increase and the speed increase. Questions. I'll take those. Okay, first, Prabhu Teja, what determines the number of these variations? Okay, number one is like how you mentioned how the composer has structured the kriti first, and also how it is evolved through a period of time. How vidwans, musicians over several centuries have added ideas to it and embellished it and set it, saying, this is how I will sing it, this is how I will teach my students, and their students will in turn, the same process continues, and this has happened for many generations. So Eta Unnara is right now, if anybody sings it, it will have a minimum of 7 to 8 sangatis, minimum. So
Yeah, and
there are mild
Meera,
variations
sorry.
here and there. Yeah, sir, please.
Yeah, no, just to, sorry for the interruption, just to, before I
Not at all.
forget, I want to tell people that many times what you're hearing are not each line, there is a Sangati, but many times what the singers do in order to, expand the whole thing and let that Sangati go into your mind, they sing every Sangati twice. So you don't need to look for variation every line. Many of them sing 2 lines the same, then again another 2 lines, another 2 lines of the same Sangati. And just to complement what Meera said, the number of Sangatis are set by the Guru Parampara, they come. And you may even see variation between different schools of music which came through different gurus a bit. But as Meera said, after recorded music, the Sangatis are sort of normalized, but it doesn't mean that within the groups there cannot be variation. Yeah, Meera, you can take the other.
Yeah. So what do you mean by by speed? What do I mean? So it starts as Eta Unara. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the given tempo. Within that, Eta Unara is the final thing. From Eta, it's the same 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So within that, the density of the Sangati is increasing. I hope it's clear, but we'll see more of this. If you listen a bit more, you'll also, it'll click in your head what I mean by density or tempo here. And then what was the other question? Karthik had a question. What do you mean by range? Again, Eta, then Eta, Eta. So you see how it's increasing, the I don't want to take notes and explain like as in that's the technicality of it. You get it?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
speed
awesome.
and tempo prasad are approximately the same. That is the speed at which you set to sing the kriti. Yeah. And the truth is that these should not be varied in the sense that they should not, improvisations are different. So we will talk about that in a later thing. Sangatis are preset. You typically should not try and improvise them, is what the gurus say. Of course, some people improvise there on the stage, but the overall advice, I think Meera would have also got it from her guru,
yes,
is
absolutely.
not to tamper with the Sangatis.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah. So we'll now quickly see, this is like a masterpiece of how accompaniment goes with, let's look at Mridangam accompaniment specifically with, the Sangatis, how they work with the vocalist and embellish your Sangatis.
Exactly. And how also, it's also an example of how the Sangatis also help the accompanies to show their own skills. Yeah, Meera.
Yeah. Listen to the mridangam closely. Yeah, this
Yeah,
this may not be very evident like right away, but the more you listen, you'll get it. How they
yeah,
are accompanying. Yeah. So when
yeah.
he does,
Me-
yeah, sorry, go for it.
yeah, Meera, I think just one point I'll make, which we thought we should make, uh, that see, if you had heard this Kriti, you will see that Semangudi anchors himself to the first part of the phrase. He doesn't make variations on that. Marubalka is generally sung the same way almost every time. The Unna Vemira, Mamanoramana, the variations happen. So in some songs, they anchor on the first part of the song. The second part, they keep varying. And that's what we have written as pivot here. And in some songs, the second part is anchored and the first part is varied, like Orangasai. Meera, if you can sing Orangasai, if you know, maybe they can say how
Oh,
the
okay.
O part gets the Sangati.
Yeah. So, O Rangashai, O Rangashai. So next is O, like eventually it moves on to O Ranga Shai. Shai remains as such. Lalgodi sir used to say Shai, he's sleeping, don't disturb Shai at all. Only Oranga is basically, it starts with O Ranga Shai, and then O is the eventual final progression that it goes to. It has too many sangitis, so I don't want to go into it, but we will share these recordings with you. Sir?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
no,
he
that's
meant by
what
pivot here. Like one part
pivot
of it,
or
yeah.
yeah. So the basic reason is that if you keep on, varying everything in a line, the structure of the raga will, go away. Now they are showing you with one part anchored how the raga is varying, and then the whole thing. It's much easier for you to grasp. Meera, maybe just 2 minutes, some
Yeah, we just have a
final
couple of
words from you. Yeah.
I'll just play very quickly this Tira the Vilayattu play for an instrumental, how imagery is done using, sangatis.
Sangatis.
So for people who are not aware of this song, this is the Shanmuka Priya portion, Pinnalai Pinnendru Iruppan, which means he is pulling my plate. Krishna is pulling my hair, my plaited hair from behind. So see how Lalgudi sir creates an image of a pinnal, a plate, a jada, or however you want to call it. Yes. So Iruppan, that sort of imagery. He's pulling it, that sort of thing. Here, plate. This. Plate. So you give 3 variations for the pinnal, the plate, the intertwined hair. So that sort of imagery can also be created if the musician wants to set up something like that. So that was one thing I wanted to share. Finally, what else, sir? We just have like a minute, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so just summarize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one important thing is the Sangati is unique to Carnatic music. You won't find it in film music or Hindustani music. One thing which comes close to is some compositions of Philip Glass, where he calls his compositions as repeated structures, but they're not really the Sangati level differently. But these are very unique to Carnatic music. Yeah, Meera, you can conclude.
Yeah. So, like we saw, they are now integral part of Carnatic music. So, you learn, the thing we can do is to learn to identify Sangatis and look for these small things in them. Slowly, you will get them, even if it's a bit technical at this point. We will share this playlist with you. Look for Sangatis in vocal and instrumental music, and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We
Thanks
will. We
everybody.
can answer your questions on Twitter.